Well, again, big thank you to Good Space High Performance Builders here in Sacramento having me out on their job site. And what I'm going to do now is talk to you guys about some of the ProClima products that are being used on the Sacramento Passive House. The way to think about ProClima is they are water, air, and vapor control materials. And it's essentially a number of products that are tools in your toolkit to make your home airtight, make your home watertight or waterproof, and to also manage water vapor appropriately. So one of the products here that Good Space is using is called Contiga HF. This is an airtight adhesive that can be used to connect the water resistive barrier on the outside of the house to the concrete foundation. It can also be used with our IntelliPlus membrane, which is an interior air barrier and smart vapor control membrane. And it can connect this material to the floor. We also have Tescon Vanna tape. This is our interior-exterior tape. It's vapor permeable, it's airtight, and it's watertight. And this can be used on the seams of membranes. It can be used for attaching to wood. This tape here is Contiga IQ. So what's really cool about Contiga IQ is it's got a couple release strips here on the back. So this allows you to make a more accurate placement of the tape to minimize folds and creases, things like that that could become small water leaks. And another benefit of this tape is it can connect to concrete without a primer. So on the exterior side of the wall, you know, where your plywood sheathing maybe terminates right at that concrete foundation, you can tape that connection there without any primer, making it water and airtight. All right, so next up we've got the Press Fix tool here. This is a pressure application tool. And the benefit of the ProClima products is we use a solid acrylic adhesive. What that means is it's a non-water soluble adhesive. So if water does engage with the tape, it won't wick the adhesive away over time. So this is a permanent bond that's set up with that solid acrylic adhesive. Other tapes on the market use maybe a modified acrylic adhesive, and modified acrylic adhesives have resins in them. They may have water in them that needs to evaporate to create the bond. And the challenge with resins is that they can dry out and embrittle over time. And that type of tape needs an emulsifier as well to create uniformity inside of that adhesive. But really that water in that emulsifier, it's not an adhesive at all. So just remember with the ProClima products, we use that solid acrylic adhesive that creates a permanent bond and will not be degraded when moisture engages with the adhesive. So let's just do a little example here of using the Press Fix tool with the Tescon Vanna tape. So I'm just going to peel this off. It's pretty sticky right off the bat, but not super duper sticky. You place the tape down, get it nice and flat, use the Press Fix tool, and apply pressure to the tape. The pressurization of the tape is critically important because this is what activates the solid acrylic adhesive. And it's fully cured after 12 to 24 hours, and the bond actually gets stronger over time. So year down the line, 10 years down the line, the bond is actually stronger than it will be right now. And let's just pressurize this, and at the end of this video, we'll come back and try to peel it off. So one of the other products that's being used on this project is this Exto Seal Encores. This is a completely waterproof tape that's typically used on window and door sills, flat window and door sills, because in those areas we do want to prevent water and potentially standing water from wicking through the material and getting into the structure. The ProClima system, we also have gaskets for pipes. We have gaskets for wires. So those make air sealing around those details very easy. And now let's step outside and we'll check out the water and air control layer on this project. Great, so we're outside now and looking at this Adhero membrane from 475. This is Adhero 3000. It's a peel and stick membrane, so think about it as a giant roll of tape that's sticking to the plywood sheathing on the wall. And for this Passive House project, this is the airtight layer that's helping us achieve really high levels of airtightness, but it's also the watertight layer right now and permanently for the structure. So you can see an example of one of our wire gaskets up here. So this is creating a water and airtight seal around this pipe. If you can zoom in on that, Pat, you can kind of see that no matter how we move that, it's looking good, looking airtight. We also have an example of our Contiga IQ tape here. This is that one that connects to concrete without a primer. And what this is doing is it's creating a permanent bond from the Adhero onto the flashing here. And then over here we have an example of our ExtoSeal On-Course tape. So again, this tape is completely waterproof. So if you have standing water on this flat sill, no water is going to go down into the tape. It's going to keep our structure nice and clean. Not nice and clean, but nice and dry. And then what's also really cool about the ExtoSeal On-Course tape is that it stretches, right? So we have it stretched down onto this flashing and then up the side of the wall to make things nice and watertight. You can see here we've got a nice pipe gasket creating a nice tight seal around that pipe coming out. We've got another airtight gasket here going around another pipe. We also have wire gaskets, and then we have a larger pipe gasket here. So, you know, this makes the air sealing less tedious in this area because when it comes to air tightness, you know, it's death by 1,000 cuts. So if we can reduce the tediousness of dealing with our air barrier, that's going to help a lot with meeting that Passive House standard for air tightness. The Adhero 3000 membrane, this is being used as that airtight layer to meet the Passive House standard. It's also being used as the watertight layer. This is a great installation. It looks wonderful. And the technology that you're getting in these ProClima products is different from technology you would get in a typical house wrap on the market. So typical house wraps on the market are microporous membranes. What that means is they have micropores or micro tears in the material, and that's how they allow the building to breathe and let water vapor out. The ProClima products, they use a monolithic membrane inside the middle of the membrane, and this can actively transport water vapor molecules out of the building because we don't want to trap moisture in our walls and create moisture issues. We want to let that water vapor out. So that monolithic layer, it's completely airtight and watertight. So we're typically 100 times more airtight than typical house wraps on the market. And this Adhero 3000 as well as our Solitex Mento resist a 33-foot water column of moisture. So I'd encourage you to look at other house wraps on the market, look at their airtightness and water tightness testing compared to ProClima. And this is one reason that Good Space High Performance Builders is using ProClima on this project, is because you have to hit a very high standard of air tightness for the Passive House standard. All right, so we talked about peeling this tape off. This was stuck on here about 5 minutes ago. Yeah, 5 minutes ago or less. And this has that solid acrylic adhesive. So we're gonna try to peel this tape back. So I'm just gonna try to get an edge of it here with this knife to be able to pull it off. So as you can see, it's stuck on there really, really well. And that bond, after 12 to 24 hours, is fully cured. So I could do this for a while. But as you can see, it's stuck really, really well to the material, to the wood.
Thanks for watching. Check us out at goodspacebuilders.com. Follow us on the socials listed below, and we'll see you next time.